Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, the Borderlands movie has will officially be coming out this weekend for the general audiences. Now, obviously, the critics have all got to see it, and their embargoes have officially been lifted. And now, ladies and gentlemen, that's never a good sign when they wait till the very last minute to lift the embargoes right before a movie comes out, because tonight, at the time of this recording, is when, of course, the Thursday night previews will begin. And needless to say, the critics, who, mind you, we generally always take their opinions with a grain of salt. At this point, though, I think it's time to report on those because they absolutely hate this movie. I mean, some of the headlines we are going to get into are absolutely insane. This movie has premiered with a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes with only 14 reviews in so far. This has to probably be the worst opening for a big budget, high profile studio movie of all time. I have never ever seen anything like this in the time that I've been covering all of this kind of stuff. And I'm a Borderlands fan. I loved the first two games. The third one, I got to a spot that was kind of buggy and broken because I was playing with my ex-girlfriend at the time, and I honestly never even finished it. That was long before I knew about all the insanity behind the scenes that went into that game. But needless to say, I loved the first two games out there. And to see this movie, especially with the kind of levels of actress you've got with Cate Blanchett and our dear sweet Halloween, Jamie Lee Curtis, this should have been done better. But we saw the trailer from the very beginning, and it's one of those things, the trailer didn't look half bad, but we knew the casting was going to be a problem. And if you don't put that kind of stuff, if you're trying to base it strictly on star power of Cate Blanchett and Jamie Lee Curtis, that's something that's probably wrong from the very beginning, because they were absolutely miscast. They are incredible actresses in their own right, but they were miscast for these roles, and if they were not going to put that kind of effort into making sure that the casting was proper, imagine what they did for the rest of the movie out there. So boys and girls, we've got a lot of headlines to go over because some of these are absolutely hilarious, how much they are roasting this movie already, and of course we're going to give you the current up-to-date score by the time we finish this video. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, it has not improved much since it initially premiered this morning. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, subscribe and or follow if you have not already, because boys and girls, we are inching our way closer and closer to 1,100. We might already be there by the time you watch this video, so help us get to 1,200 by making sure you smash that subscribe button and leave us a comment down below. Let us know if, from the initial trailer, if you had high hopes for this movie and if it was something that you were going to be interested in. Will you still go see it even with this absolutely abysmal critic score out there, or is this something, you know what, you're not really that interested in because you've seen how the video game adaptations go before? Let us know about all of that down below. So, from film updates, ladies and gentlemen, Borderlands debuts with a Rotten Tomatoes score of 0% from 14 reviews so far. So initially yesterday, I saw some of the early reviews that kind of got just a little bit of a snippet, a little bit of a clip they put out there, and they were just kind of middling. Basically, one of them I remember saying specifically, it was like, there's nothing really overtly offensive in this movie, but at the exact same time, there's nothing really overtly memorable in the movie either. They said it was bland. Well, needless to say, those headlines have gotten a whole lot worse from there, because Variety points out Eli Ross Borderlands, starring Cate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Jack Black, when they fill that much of it at the beginning of the top line, it's not a good sign. Is a generic video game adaptation that deprives audiences of the most valuable ingredient of its source: surprise. So what is it, that the trailers literally gave everything away? Honestly, I didn't think there was that much in the trailers as far as storyline, but apparently that might have been the end of it. That's bad. But trust me, it gets worse. IGN, Borderlands is an abysmal waste of a beloved franchise that takes a kooky band of murderous misfits and drains the life out of their first adventure together. Ooh, somebody get Borderlands some ice, because holy cow. They gave it a 3. The hyper-stylized flair of the Borderlands games is replicated only on the most superficial level. And with a PG-13 rating, all the limb-severing gore, dirty-minded humor, and uniquely deranged themes are replaced by recycled blandness geared towards mass marketability. Once again, over and over again, if you don't make the fans happy, the built-in audience that you bought the rights to this IP for, how do you ever expect to make it appeal to a mass audience? And that's always the problem. That's always the mistake. These idiots in Hollywood who think they're smarter, better, and faster than every single one of you out there and everyone that's come before them, they think they can remake it in their own image. Oh, them stupid video game nerds, they're dummies. They don't care. They'll just show up because, oh, it's got the Borderlands name on it. See, that's where they've always made the mistake. The hardcore fans are the ones that drive your ticket sales. They're the ones that go out there and repeat buy. Go back and see it over and over again. They're the ones who go see it the first time on opening weekend. And if it's good, they drag every one of their friends that they can get a hold of to go see it the next weekend and the weekend after that. And as many times as they can go and as many times as they can convince other people to go. They are your acolytes. They are your ambassadors out there. The hardcore fans, when you make them happy, all they want to do is make more fans. And maybe their buddy's not into video games, right? But you know what? Your friend is into movies. They might not be willing to sit down and play Borderlands with you, but they're willing to go spend a couple hours with you at the theater on a Friday or a Saturday, right? Those are how you get this stuff to happen. That's how it works. But that's the problem with Hollywood. You've always thought you were smarter than your audience. And once again, just like a very old story about pride before the fall, you have now fallen and failed once again. This is a hundreds of millions of dollars disaster waiting to happen at the box office. And I cannot wait to report on the numbers for you to once again mock the hubris and ego that Hollywood continues to have over and over again by ignoring the fans of franchises they understand nothing about. That is why they fail. But it gets worse. It gets worse. I'm just going to read this straight from the Hollywood Handle's very own headlines. Borderlands review: an insult to video game adaptations that at least try to put in the effort of honoring the game they're adapting. The Hollywood Handle, ladies and gentlemen, access media to the nines. They live and breathe on early access to things. And this is what they're saying. They're saying you didn't even try to honor the source material. You did not even make an attempt. And that shows you once again, they never cared to begin with. And this is why they fail. They don't understand their audience. And they don't want to. But that's why they fail, right? They saw the success of Super Mario Brothers, and they went, ooh, we can do that. What's the next hot franchise? What's another hot franchise out there? Ooh, Borderlands, we can do that. Yeah, except you don't understand why Super Mario worked, right? Because Nintendo knows how to respect their source material, knows how to respect their fans, and make it an accurate representation of what everybody knows and loves already. That's why Super Mario is a billion-dollar movie. And Borderlands will cost this company hundreds of millions of dollars. This will be a hundreds of millions of dollars of loss between marketing and what they spent on this movie. That's how abysmally bad this is. And like I said, we're going to get to where they're at right now. And this is where we're at, boys and girls, from RottenTomatoes.com. Look, we'll even refresh it. You see where it's at now? 3%. But to make sure we have the most accurate at the time of this recording, 3%. 3%. Boys and girls. A 3%. That's from 30 reviews. 30 reviews from Access Media. Spirit of the Age, Acolytes of the Cult. 30 reviews at 3%. That is absolutely insane. Borderlands is a catastrophic disappointment that plays like a hacked-to-pieces studio slop, betraying everything fans adore about Gearbox's Software's franchise in a derivative, regrettable fashion. IGN, the Daily Beast, a top critic according to these guys. So drilly routine and slapdash that even an AI would deem it to be plagiaristic. I mean, this is pathetic. Beyond the trailer, Grace Randolph, one of the only ones, of course, our dear sweet Grace, who even hated the Acolyte and it broke her. She says, I've never played the games, but I get a kick out of Blanchett starring in a movie like this and doing a great job. I do wish the script had been adjusted to be a bit better to accommodate her age. Blanchett fans will enjoy this. Not sure about anyone else. That's your positive review. That's the 3% out of the 30 reviews you've got, with everyone else butchering this. Financial Times, has Roth botched an attempt to make a multiplex hit from an edgy nugget of an intellectual property? Almost certainly yes, but there's a faint, stubborn signs of something more interesting. Blanchett's charisma, unkillable, on an occasion, hairy oomph. I mean, this is bad, and it just goes on and on. The definitive worst film of Roth's career, and another strike against AAA games brought to the big screen. And this is what happens. This is what happens in Hollywood with this kind of nonsense. They go out there and they lap up, they listen to what the marketing teams tell them. Ooh, video games are the next hot trendy thing. Let's grab an IP that's popular and let's make a movie out of it. Not understanding that the only way these movies are ever successful is when you make the fans happy. Five Nights at Freddy's was a movie that cost, what, $20, $30 million, maybe? All of which was covered by Peacock when they bought the streaming rights to stream it exclusively on a day-and-date release in the theaters. That movie made like $100 million by making the fans happy. Did it appeal to a wider audience? No. It didn't have to, because they made it for $20 million. And they ended up making a kick-ass profit on it. They spent $200 million from a major studio house on this abomination, to where even the shills, the Access Media, the best they could come up with was a 3% on Rotten Tomatoes. They call it an abomination. Disrespecting to video game adaptations that are looking like you didn't even try. But this is what you get, Hollywood. This is what you get when you try to ride coattails instead of properly adapting an IP properly. Because you pay those millions of dollars for a built-in fan base, for a built-in audience. And then when you disrespect them, guess what? Even your simps out there in Hollywood can't cover for you anymore. This is why you fail. And at the end of the day, you'll get exactly what you deserve, Hollywood.